In triangle OPQ, we're told that O to P is 6A, which is already marked on. O to Q is 6B, which is already marked on. And we're told that X is the midpoint of PQ. We need to find, in terms of A and B, the vector O to X. To do that, I'm going to go from O to Q, and then from Q to X. Now the O to Q, I know what that is just the 6B, so that's fine. The Q to X, I'm not entirely sure what that is at the moment, but I do know that this is going to be equal to half of the whole of the Q to P, because X is the midpoint. So now I'm thinking, well, what's Q to P? What's this? Well, I know that's going to be the same as Q to O plus O to P, which would be minus 6B, because we're in the opposite direction here, plus 6A. So that's Q to P. So Q to X is going to be half of that, so half of the minus 6B plus 6A, which is minus 3B plus 3A. So that is my vector Q to X. So, to finish off my answer for part A, find in terms of A and B the vector O to X. We know that the vector O to Q was 6B. We've just worked out the vector Q to X is minus 3B plus 3A. We can now simplify that to get our answer. The 6B minus the 3B is 3B, and the 3A can't be written any simpler. So that is my answer for O to X. We are then told that Y is the point on OX such that O to Y to X is 2 to 1. So O to Y is 2 parts, Y to X is 1 part. We need to find, in terms of A and B, the vector Q to Y. So, let me mark that onto my diagram. Q to Y is this. I know that's going to be the same as vector Q to O plus vector O to Y. So Q to Y is going to be the same as Q to O plus O to Y. The Q to O, we know that's going to be minus 6B because it's in the opposite direction. The O to Y, well, this is 2/3 of the vector O to X. And we worked out O to X in part A of the question. Now, just to simplify that, we've got the 2/3 of the 3b, which is 2b, which will then be added to the minus 6b. And then we've also got the 2/3 of the 3a, which is 2a. And so this is my answer for Q to Y.